Joining us now, Senator Ted Cruz, the great state of Texas. Did I read this correct, Senator? Did China sanction you again? Is the Communist Party lashing out at you again? Because probably that's, right up there with the Medal of Freedom.
Well, China has now sanctioned me not once but twice.
Congratulations, by the way. We're so happy for you. It means you're doing something right, Senator.
It means our summer vacation in Beijing is now we're going to have to put a pause on it. And even more distressing, we're not going to be able to go to Tehran either. So it really is limiting the choices of where to play with the kids this summer.
It's funny, you and I were on the same travel path. I was thinking, let me go visit the mullahs in Iran and see if we can talk reason with them, and the Chinese President Xi, who's getting more aggressive by the day and probably doing backflips like Putin and the mullahs and Middle Eastern countries that hate us over Biden's energy plan.
Well, that's exactly right. You look at what Joe Biden has done in just a couple of weeks, and it has dramatically weakened U.S. energy production. It has destroyed jobs here at home, and the people who are getting rich on it are Vladimir Putin, are Iran, are the Middle East, and the energy producers. Basically, the Democrats' brilliant idea is to try to destroy energy independence here at home, destroy jobs here at home, and make us more dependent on energy from our enemies, which pollutes the environment more and gives them billions of dollars to use to try to kill Americans.
It's a scary time for everybody. And I believe that you're right. Your criticism was on the issue of China's deepening control of Hong Kong, which we now see happening more and more. I'm also similarly concerned about Taiwan, and I'm also concerned about we're going to go back to the good old days of preferential treatment. We're part of the Paris Accords that use them as a developing nation. We pay $500 million or whatever it is a year. China pays 30. I mean, the World Health Organization won't even recognize that the virus is from China. Joe signs an executive order banning the term China virus or Wuhan virus. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's been one of the most disturbing patterns we've seen in the first couple of weeks of the Biden administration has been a hard pivot towards an embrace of communist China. We've seen Biden nominee after Biden nominee come and take extreme positions. For example, Tony Blinken, the new Secretary of State, was asked if he would maintain the entities list, which are the sanctioned companies in China who have participated in genocide and oppression. He refused to commit to maintaining that list. Gina Raimondo, who's the governor of Rhode Island, nominated to be Commerce Secretary. I asked her at her hearing if she would commit, at the very minimum, to keeping Huawei on the list. Huawei is the giant Chinese telecom company that is basically an espionage company. She wouldn't make that commitment. And I'll tell you this week, Sean, Biden's nominee to be ambassador to the United Nations, at her confirmation hearing, I asked her about a speech she gave a little over a year ago in 2019 to a Confucius Institute. Now, Confucius Institutes are owned, controlled, paid for by the Chinese Communist government. They've been set up at U.S. universities all across the country. They are major hubs of espionage and propaganda. I've led the efforts in the Senate to crack down on Confucius Institutes, passed bipartisan legislation that has shut down dozens of Confucius Institutes. Well, it turns out Biden's UN ambassador nominee gave a paid speech to a Confucius Institute in October of 2019 where she praised China effusively and said America should follow the example of China.
I'm watching you in these hearings. Weren't you the one that asked the question about, was it the Commerce Secretary nominee about raising taxes on the middle class? I mean, we're learning a lot, and there seems to be little to no attention being paid to the people that Biden is surrounding himself with.
Well, they're all elites. They're almost all super wealthy, and they look down on working class men and women. You and I have talked about for years, the most dramatic shift of the last decade is it used to be conventional wisdom that Republicans were the party of the rich and Democrats were the party of the poor. That has flipped on its head. It is now the case that Democrats are the party of rich coastal elites And Republicans are the party of blue-collar workers, of union members, of construction workers and truck drivers and steel workers. You know, his first day in office, Joe Biden sat down, signed an executive order shutting down the Keystone Pipeline. That was 11,000 jobs that Joe Biden destroyed, 8,000 union jobs that he just made go away with the stroke of a pen. I asked multiple Biden appointees, what do you say to that construction worker whose job Joe Biden just destroyed? Essentially, they said, go jump in a lake. You know, you played it.
Can I play the exchange that you had with Pete Buttigieg? Let me play that.
So for those workers, the answer is somebody else will get a job?
The answer is that we are very eager to see those workers continue to be employed in good-paying union jobs, even if they might be different ones.
Senator, I've been interviewing these guys on radio and TV. They're making anywhere between $100,000 and $250,000 a year. They won't have a job next week. Who's going to pay their rent and mortgage? And, well, we want you to get another union job. Well, they had a good one that you just ripped away from them in the stroke of a pen.
You're exactly right, and the Democrats don't care. You know, John Kerry, you played at the intro to this segment, John Kerry's really astonishing news conference where the guy is a centimillionaire. And by the way, John Kerry, it's not like he earned that money. He married that money. But he has his own private jet, and yet he happily explains how the folks who are losing their jobs, that he and Joe Biden are just going to help them, quote, make better choices. What
I have an idea, Senator.
Condescending thing to say.
And that's what he said. And our hope is to get another good paying job. Well, he has a big fat carbon footprint on his private jet. Let him lead by example, and he shouldn't even sell it. He should dismantle it so nobody else can have a big fat carbon footprint. Now, don't we have a fleet of jets that these cabinet secretaries use all the time that we, the taxpayers, pay for? Don't you think it would be a real profile and courage if they had to go to the airport, go through TSA, and travel commercially like most of America?
I think it would be a great thing, and I'll tell you what, I fly Southwest Airlines almost every week. For John Kerry, I'll save him the window seat, and he can come sit with the working class people whose jobs he's destroying. He's you know, his answer, what you played a moment ago was his press conference where he says, quelle surprise, or actually he says quelle surprise, because he can't even, when he's trying to be French, he can't get it right. But what a dripping condescension.
It's unbelievable.
Same press conference, he also says, well, they need to learn to build solar panels. Well, most solar panels right now are built in China. Are you telling union workers in America they got to move to China to have jobs in Joe Biden's America? I mean, this is the Democrats prioritize donations from California environmentalist billionaires more than they prioritize jobs for working men and women, for union members.
I know a lot of people that really need, because of either medical conditions or age or comorbidities or compromised immune systems, that really could use their chance to get the vaccination that our brilliant scientists and medical professionals have put together, but they haven't been able to get it yet, and it might be some time until they do. But the Pentagon has just announced that they're going to be vaccinating inmates at Gitmo starting as early as next week. And, of course, Biden now apparently plans to offer coronavirus vaccines to the rest of the world as part of an announcement that they had. And I'm sitting here thinking, excuse me, now we're going to make Putin and Russia and China and President Xi and Iran and the mullahs and other Middle Eastern countries rich on energy because we're stupid and we're going to just fire Americans from great-paying, high-paying jobs in a horrible job market, and they're not going to be able to replace them, and they're skill-specific. And now we're going to not only let those countries prosper, we'll suffer, we'll pay more for heat, more for gas. Now we're going to give the vaccine to Gitmo prisoners. We're going to give the vaccine to the rest of the world before we take care of the American people first. This is like, what is it, now America last?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, their priority, it's the opposite of America first. It is America last, but with one exception, except for the rich and with special privilege. The Democratic elites, they've gotten their vaccinations. You know, I watched AOC get her vaccination. Last I checked, she's a young, healthy person, but she gets first in line. And now, listen, they offered that to every member of Congress. I'll tell you, I haven't gotten my vaccination yet. I intend to. But what I said at the time is I'm going to wait and let seniors and frontline medical personnel get it.
I said the same thing. You know, we need to give it to the people that need it most, frontline workers and older people and people that are sick and neighborhoods that are, you know, inordinately hit hard.
Yeah, look, my mom is 86 and is a 2-time cancer survivor. She's had her first vaccination. I was glad she contacted her doctor and got it. That's where we should be prioritizing it, is to populations that have vulnerabilities. But the Democrats are the party of government. They're the statists. They believe in government power. And hand in hand with government power is those with connections, those with special interests. They get preferential treatment. Listen, we saw that just this week with Robinhood stopping the trading of GameStop. And now you think about this. You had a couple of hedge funds in New York shorting the stock, trying to make a bunch of money, and a bunch of ordinary citizens went out and bought the stock, drove the price up into the sky. And what did Robinhood do? It shut down the ordinary citizens and said, no, you can't buy the stock anymore. And I got to say, that doesn't make
I didn't like that either, but I was wondering if they did it because they were afraid people that don't know what they're doing are going to lose a fortune, because you and I both know that stock's going to tank eventually.
Yeah. Look, that is certainly true, and I haven't bought the stock. There's no doubt that it has spiked up over 1,000%, and it is almost certain to come crashing down. So a lot of people may lose their shirt. But right now, what Robinhood and other places are allowing is the rich and powerful
right
to
that's
play
an
in the
advantage.
Casino, and ordinary Americans not to. You know, and you have a right to do something.
How about they put a big warning that this stock seems artificially high to us in our opinion? Do what you want.
Yeah, that would make an awful lot of sense. You can put a warning, but we should have the same rules apply to everybody. There shouldn't be one set of rules for the friends of Joe Biden and one set of rules for everybody else.
I actually thought it was cool. It was David beating Goliath, and then Goliath starts begging for help from the federal government because, they make money off this shorting game that hurts a lot of small companies. But now that they get burned, they don't like it. They go running to mom and dad, the big government. I have one more question on the other side, if you can stay with us, Senator Ted Cruz. Now, this is a rare moment. We're talking about Robinhood and David, slaying Goliath, and Goliath runs to big government for help. And so you said, wow, rare moment. I agree with AOC. You tried to have me murdered last week. Senator, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember the event as you calling for a legal audit of the election, by the way, something Democrats have done in the past.
Well, that's exactly right, and this whole kerfuffle started because AOC sent a tweet that actually made sense, saying that we need to ask why Robinhood is shutting down ordinary citizens from trading and giving special rules for hedge funds. And I saw it and read it and said, I'll be damned. I actually agree with what she's saying. So I retweeted it, and I wrote 2 words, fully agree. And then simply arrow pointing down. And she responded by losing her mind, by sending a series of screaming tweets accusing me of trying to have her murdered, which is really unhinged. And I got to say, Sean, it reflects where the congressional Democrats are now. They're filled with rage. They're filled with hatred. And for 4 years, the Democrats and the media have defined themselves and their party by hatred for Donald J. Trump. That's who they are. They don't believe in anything other than hating Trump. Now, when they have control of the White House, both houses of Congress, they're trying to kill everyone. It's like the end of the Godfather movies, where they're trying, like Michael Corleone at the end of every movie, settles his debts and tries to eliminate his enemies. That's what AOC and the left is trying to do. They're trying to destroy President Trump. They're trying to destroy me. They're trying to destroy every conservative. They want to destroy you, and they want to take the 75 million Americans who voted for Trump and try to falsely paint them as a bunch of racist, bigoted rubes who need to be canceled and erased from society. And it's
this spontaneous insurrection, it turns out the pipe bombs were planted the night before, according to the FBI. Senator, we live in troubled times. You are an emerging voice of leadership and sanity, and keep up the good work. We appreciate you checking in with us.
Thank you, my friend. God bless, and thank you for what you do each and every day.